We're back with our Bible Bites in Philippians chapter 1, verses 15 through 18a. Some indeed preach Christ from envy and rivalry, but others from goodwill. The latter do it out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former proclaim Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, but thinking to afflict me in my imprisonment. What then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is proclaimed, and in that I rejoice. Uh, one of these passages in Paul's writing that we're not exactly sure who he's talking about. We're not sure who these people are, these some who preach out of envy and rivalry. What we know is in verse 14, that's right before this, Paul was talking about Christian brothers that were emboldened by his faith and his confidence as he's preaching in prison. They were confident to preach the word or speak the word without fear. And so it seems like these some are Christians who maybe don't see eye to eye with Paul. Maybe they are these Jewish Christians who had a different view of the law and they wanted to stick to the dietary laws and food laws, etc. And now they're looking at this opportunity while Paul is in prison to afflict him. In other words, to maybe take followers for their way of thinking about Christianity. Okay, others, he says, they're doing it out of love. They know that he's there for the defense of the gospel. They want to promote the same gospel, and so they're out there preaching. Uh, but there's some that are doing it out of selfish ambition. It seems like they're more focused, they're not sincere. They're kind of wrongly motivated in why they're out there preaching the gospel. Now, sometimes we can look at other people's motivation or assume their motivation and get very upset. Um, and part of that is our own pride and our own ego. And Paul could be upset. Why are they trying to afflict me? Why are they taking advantage of the fact that I'm in prison? What does Paul actually do? He says in verse 18, what then? I'm not really worried about why they're doing what they're doing. I think only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, here's the key: Christ is proclaimed. Here's one of these passages where Paul is really decreasing as Christ is increasing. Paul's saying this mission that we're on, it's not about me. It's about the gospel. I don't care if they're doing it to afflict me. I don't care really why they're doing it, as long as the truth about Christ is proclaimed. So these guys must not have been heretics because they're actually proclaiming Christ. Paul wouldn't be happy if they're proclaiming something other than the true gospel. So he's saying, I'm not worried about anything but this, that the gospel of Christ advance. Guys, this seems to me like there's something really humble about Paul's thinking here. It's humble and it's gospel centered, right? It's gospel and Christ centered in every way. Paul's not worried about himself, he's worried about the kingdom going forward. And so we have to ask ourselves the question, do we get caught up sometimes in thinking more about ourselves than we are about the gospel, what happened to us, what it means to us, etc.? Or are we so focused on, hey, Christ needs to be made known, he needs to be famous, and I don't care how that happens, as long as it's happening. May Christ be known. May we decrease. May he increase. I hope that's an encouragement to you today, because there's a lot of opportunity we have in our day, in our daily living, to decrease and make the gospel the primary thing. Let that encourage you, and until next time.